This morning, Madison's walkability, how accessible it is for those looking to vote next week.
Plus, Madison Metropolitan School District adopts 2 budgets ahead of the referendum. We'll outline what this means for the district. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now This Morning on this Tuesday. I'm Kyrian Lee.
And I'm Chris Stanford. Thanks for joining us. Got a couple of weather issues to talk about this morning. Well, the first really isn't an issue because it's warm and mild out there.
Yes.
But we are talking about the risk of some severe weather.
Yes, so obviously this heat in the atmosphere is building up. So we're going to check in now with meteorologist Savannah Burrito, who's going to get us up to date. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, we have a cold front that's going to be the focal point as it inches closer to our area for the increasing threat of strong to severe thunderstorms. Not today, even most of tomorrow dry, but Wednesday, tomorrow night into early Thursday morning. Those are the hours that we are going to see potentially some stronger storms. We're sitting very, very mild 69 right now, likely setting a all-time new record warm low. That was the forecast this morning. Definitely tonight and even this afternoon and tomorrow afternoon are going to be very close to that, where we will have at least near record warmth within a degree of our current records that hold back from the 1900s, that century. Strong to severe storms, though, for far southwestern Wisconsin, although the outlook does include far western Dane County, northwest and also southwest of that area. The ultimate greatest threat, though, is far southwest of our area. That's for Wednesday night. We'll talk about the threats we could see and also time that out coming up.
All right, Savannah, thank you. Folks, you can stay on top of those changing conditions by downloading the free First Warn weather app. Find it wherever you get yours. Now to our 3 for the People coverage. The election is now 1 week away.
And campaign visits to the Badger State continue. Vice President Kamala Harris will be at the UW-Madison campus tomorrow. She'll be joined by several musicians for the campaign's Get Out the Vote concert and rally series. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump will be in Green Bay. He'll be joined by former Packer Brett Favre.
Former President Bill Clinton will be in Wisconsin on behalf of the Harris-Walz campaign. He's headed to the Fox Valley and Milwaukee on Thursday. Clinton is expected to tout Harris's agenda while criticizing Project 2025. And exact location and time have yet to be announced.
Meanwhile, both vice presidential candidates made stops in Wisconsin. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz visited Waukesha. Waukesha Mayor Sean Riley joined him. Riley recently endorsed Vice President Harris for president, his first endorsement of a Democrat for the top of the ticket. Walz contrasted former President Trump's platform with that of other Republicans.
Ronald Reagan stood in the breach as communism was spreading, said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. This is not who Donald Trump is. That is not that Republican Party. This Republican Party is interested in your business.
Senator J.D. Vance visited Racine and Wausau. In Wausau, he responded to Democrats' critiques of the Trump campaign's rally in Madison Square Garden Sunday.
How dare Kamala Harris call her fellow citizens racist for not wanting their communities overwhelmed with fentanyl? How dare Kamala Harris call parents bad people for wanting their children to grow up in safe neighborhoods?
Sunday's rally included right-wing speakers making controversial remarks. The comments receiving the most attention came from comedian Tony Hinchcliffe.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah, I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Following the rally, several Puerto Rican celebrities endorsed Harris. They include Jennifer Lopez, Bad Bunny, and Ricky Martin.
Voters in Madison may be walking to the polls next Tuesday. Our political reporter, Will Keneally, took to the streets to see just how accessible the polls are.
They say Madison's a pretty walkable city, right? But what does that mean for Election Day?
Any way that we can work to, try and get the polls closer to the people, I think is really important.
That's Lisa Hassenstad with Disability Rights Wisconsin. She says making polling places more accessible helps not only disabled voters, but all voters.
And so whatever we can do to, to try and make it easier for people to get to their polling place if they want to vote in person are things that we want to encourage people to focus on.
If you're walking to the polls on Tuesday, we wanted to see what that would look like for you. According to our analysis, 50% of the population is within a 10-minute walk of their polling place. Let's take Ward 82 by Toki Middle School on the city's southwest side. About half the voting ward is within that 10-minute walk range. But even on the fringes, the closer, the better. For voters with those disability concerns, how does Madison do?
Madison, I think, does a really great job with accessibility at their polling places.
Heston Stabb serves as a poll worker herself. She says the state provides accessibility audits to cities like Madison.
So I think it's something that they pay really close attention to. You know, I think, it kind of varies from municipality to municipality.
You can see that full interactive map up online at channel3000.com. Reporting from Madison, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
Well, let's take a look at the Madison Metropolitan School District, who adopted 2 budgets for the 2024-25 school year. It anticipates both the passage and rejection of the district's operations referendum on November 5th. Now, officials say both budgets see MMSD drawing from its general education fund. The passage will allow for less money to be taken out of the fund. The balance of the fund, if the referendum passes, would be $92.3 million. Now, if it doesn't pass, the balance would be $68.9 million. If the operations referendum is not successful, the 2% raise in staff wages would not happen. And the board would need to also consider cuts to programming, services, and personnel for the next school year.
In the Middle East this morning, Israel passed a law that bans UNRWA, the United Nations Palestinian Refugee Agency, from operating in the country. This could impact its work in war-torn Gaza. Lawmakers cited the involvement of some UNRWA staffers in the October 7th attacks in southern Israel. The legislation has alarmed the UN and some of Israel's Western allies. They fear it would further worsen the humanitarian situation in Gaza.
Before you take off on your next flight, take a look at your new passenger rights. Automatic airfare refund rules are in effect. If your flight is disrupted and you don't rebook, you get an automatic cash refund within 20 days. That applies to cancellations, domestic delays of 3 or more hours, and international delays of at least 6 hours. There are separate rules that mandate a luggage fee refund and refunds for prepaid services like seat selection and Wi-Fi.
Target's making it easier to host Thanksgiving dinner this year. The company is offering a meal bundle for just $20. That's $5 less than last year. The bundle comes with a frozen turkey up to 10 pounds, potatoes, canned green beans, cream of mushroom soup, box stuffing mix, and jarred gravy. Target also says that it's offering deals on other side dishes like macaroni and cheese, desserts, including apple and pumpkin pie.
All right, so there's lots of these big retailers putting out these deals.
Kits, yeah.
So I guess if you're not prepared, I mean, Thanksgiving is just like a month away. So get ready.
Is that, holy cow, you're right.
Yeah, I was like, there's not much time to think about it.
Crazy.
Well, let's check it down. Savannah, what's coming up?
Yeah, guys, crazy to think about the Thanksgiving in November just around the corner, but we are tracking the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms, not today, but tonight into early Halloween morning. That'll be ahead of a cold front. We'll time out your alert day conditions coming up.
And we are live on Haunted Monroe Street in Stoughton this morning, which is going to be opening up for Halloween. Enter if you dare in the 608.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning, brought to you by Toyota.
Dear road rivals, no truck on the road drives value like the Tundra. Day after day, mile after mile, it all adds up to big savings under the hood. What's under yours? Toyota Tundra.
Right now, lease a new Tundra for $479 a month or get 3.99% APR for 72 months on a new Tundra. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I was 27 years old, and the doctor told me I have MS. You quickly realize what's the most important things in life: family, friendships, love, helping other people. It makes you much more empathetic and compassionate to those that are struggling and suffering. I wanted to achieve my goals and dreams, but I wanted to take my resources and save as many children as I possibly could.
Growing up here in southeast Wisconsin, hard work and getting things done are in Brian Stiles' DNA. It's why Stiles is recognized as a problem solver in Congress. He's fighting for Wisconsin families every day, combating high prices at the grocery store and gas pump. And Brian Stiles is protecting Social Security and Medicare because you've earned it. Brian Stiles, getting it done for southeast Wisconsin. Fair Shake is responsible for the content of this ad. Donald Trump has always wanted unchecked power.
I have the right to do whatever I want as president.
And with Project 2025, he'll get it. No guardrails. This time, he will eliminate protections for pre-existing conditions, and he'll cut Social Security and Medicare to give more tax cuts to billionaires. Donald Trump is more unhinged and unstable than ever. If we give him total power, he'll put everything at risk.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do: ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde owns a $3 billion California bank. That's right, he owns it.
And a $7 million mansion on the beach.
Eric Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax breaks for rich guys just like him.
And to pay for it, Hovde would cut Social Security by 28%.
Slash Medicare 25%.
And veterans benefits 40%.
Outrageous. Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. This guy is not for us.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
All right, we're back in the 608. It's Halloween week, and we're learning about the haunted street of Stoughton. The community goes all out every year for this.
Yeah, that's where Josh Breider is hanging out this morning. He's live in Stoughton to take us inside. Hey, Josh.
Hey guys, good morning. A really cool story for you for some spooky season spirit as we lead up to Halloween this week. We are on Haunted Monroe Street, where all the neighbors go all out, as you can see from behind me this morning. So we are going to get a little tour ahead of Halloween. September and Jim Lyons are joining us live this morning. Guys, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh, so this is pretty cool. Tell us how this all started.
About 8 years ago or so, we started putting a big facade up in the front of the house. And then it just kind of led one house to the next. We started decorating each house when we got more and more stuff anyways. And yeah, it just kind of blew up from 8 years ago. And now Amy and Paul down there start decorating. And then Sawyer has his little haunted house down the way. And then Chad and Kelly here, they get into it with us and they have their little walkthrough. And yeah.
It's pretty fun to see how this has really turned into something big, and you guys all kind of help each other out with it too.
Yeah. So like our neighbor Brooke over here, she paints all of our like signs for us, and otherwise, yeah, they just give us their electricity in their yard for the month, and we go to town, and then we take it down for them, and yeah.
Oh, how fun! All right, give us a little tour. Walk us into your front yard here, because obviously this takes a little time to set up every year.
It does. It takes like a month and a half.
Jim, what's it like to construct some of this stuff? Because obviously this took a little bit of work.
Well, it's kind of fun just for what I do for a living. I make stuff look nice. It's kind of fun to make something kind of ugly for once. So yeah, it's fun to do. And once the wood comes out, people just start bringing their kids through, and you know, it's fun.
You know, and that's what it's all about, is it's for the families, and the kids absolutely love this, I bet.
They totally love it. We get some of the same kids every day come through and want to see what else we had put up for that day. And then, yeah, the night of, we always put something else out, so it's never the same. You know, that's never the same. And we change the themes every year, too.
So what is your theme this year?
This year, it's the circus. And then we did a haunted wedding up on the corner, and then aliens, and then the haunted harvest. And then over here we did like the kiddo area. It's got like a little petting zoo and stuff over there. And then we have the the party over here.
I just love how this is kind of like a whole block thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, talk a little bit about what Halloween night's going to look like, because this year's going to be a little special. They're actually closing the street down.
They are. They're closing it down to traffic from 5:30 to 9, so that way it's a little safer for kids, because we can get up over 1,000 trick-or-treaters, and that's just the kids. So when, you know, you got your parents, friends, whoever else comes with, it can get pretty chaotic. So so yeah, it'll be nice. And they're gonna bring picnic tables out, and we're gonna set them down the street, so if people want to hang out and just look at the stuff, and then there'll be a little more room to move around for everybody too, instead of everybody being crammed in on the sidewalk.
It seems like this is just a great connection for your neighborhood right here.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, I mean, we get along with our neighbors obviously super good, so that's helpful. And yeah, we just have fun with it.
Oh, I love it. Well, guys, thank you so much for the tour this morning, and thanks for having us out.
You're welcome. Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about Haunted Monroe Street, you can go to the story up on channel3000.com. Everything you need to know, including a link up to their Facebook page, so you can get a little bit more of a tease for yourself before coming out here on Halloween night, guys.
So look at the clown like is hanging and dangling behind you there, Josh.
There's a lot of spooky stuff and some things that will jump out at you, Kyriana, and I know how spooky you get on some of those things, those creepy crawlies, right?
Yes, that you do know firsthand.
All right, Josh, looking good there in Stoughton. Thanks, buddy. Josh is always looking for inspirational stories to share with you folks at home. You have an idea for the segment? Reach out and let them know about it.
Let's check in now with meteorologist Savannah Brito, who's here now with your first warned weather. Good morning.
Good morning. It's already windy, but very mild out there. In fact, we've only fallen so far this morning to 66. If we don't fall below that 64-degree mark, which I don't think we will set a new record warm low. That's definitely going to happen tonight, as temperatures again going to be very mild. 10 a.m. 71. By the lunchtime hour, temperatures are going to be pushing those mid to upper 70s. It'll be very windy outside, where gusts could actually approach the 40-mile-per-hour range. We also not only have warm temperatures at night, but during the afternoons as well. The forecast today, 81, just 1 degree off from our record high 82. Same with tomorrow, our forecast 77, the record high 78. So we'll come within a degree of reaching that, or at least tying that. Nonetheless, near record warmth. That's all ahead of the cold front that's going to drop our temperatures a lot between today and into Thursday on Halloween. So a chilly Halloween will be at least near normal though, but then storms ahead of that cold front. We could even see strong to severe thunderstorms. That's why we did go with alert day conditions for tomorrow night. That's for far southwestern Wisconsin. If we are able to see the line hold, we could see some gusty winds, some smaller hail, an isolated brief tornado cannot be ruled out. But this is the outlook. So the best chance, the greatest chance overall of severe weather far southwest of here, where there even is a yellow or slight risk, were at least western Dane County, northwest and southwest included in that low level or marginal risk. So we do have a chance. There's a lot of uncertainties if we see sunshine tomorrow or a lot of cloud cover, and not to mention we have low instability and storm energy, but moisture levels, those are actually going to slightly increase, and temperatures will be warm enough. Same with our dew points, not quite as impressive, but nonetheless, if we could see this line hold, the gusty winds are going to be the greatest threat, along with pockets of heavier showers. Lots of yellows and reds on radar, so we could see several inches of rain over the next couple of days. Really tomorrow night into Thursday, upwards of at least half an inch, maybe as much as 2 inches, especially those areas that see those pockets of heavier rain. But the sharp drop in temperatures, 81 today, we're down to 52 on Halloween.
The Packers improved to 6-2 on Sunday with a thrilling 30-27 walk-off win in Jacksonville. But for the third time this season, Green Bay won the game with Malik Willis at quarterback. Jordan Love injured his groin on the first drive, and after hobbling all half, he was taken out early in the third. Now, some reports say that it is just a groin strain, but Matt LaFleur would not confirm that. He only said Love seemed to be in good spirits.
If he can go, he'll go. So we'll see where he's at by the end of the week. And but if we feel like he can't protect himself, then we certainly wouldn't put him in that position.
Giannis.
The Bucks playing the defending champion Boston Celtics, tied at 41 apiece. Midway through the second, Dame Lillard collects his own miss and puts another 3 up. Why not? The Bucks take the lead, but then late, Celtics up 2. Derek White, fresh off a trip in the Olympics and a gold medal. Well, he gets that one to go. Celtics take it, and the Bucks drop to 1-3. 119-108 is the final score. And this is great news. On November 15th, when Wisconsin men's basketball plays against Arizona, Bo Ryan will enter his rightful place in the rafters of the Kohl Center. The Badgers will lift a permanent banner with the legendary coach's name on it. He was inducted into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame just a few weeks ago. That's your morning sports fix. Have a terrific Tuesday.
Well, still ahead, we're digging into a Dane County School District's referendum and laying out what is at stake.
We're back right after this.
Need help with a consumer issue? Contact News 3 Now's Call for Action.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
For years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We count on gasoline to power our cars, our tractors, our way of life. So why is a city slicker from Miami, Elizabeth Crappie, okay banning gas-powered vehicles? Extremists like Crappie want to eliminate fossil fuels, robbing hard-working families, farmers, and small businesses of their vehicles. Miami Liz's radical ideas hurt our families and our main streets. Don't let Crappie get away with it. Born and raised right here. Todd Novak is our independent voice for common sense, protecting our way of life.
So let's get one thing straight. When Donald Trump talks about cutting Social Security and Medicare, it's like spitting in the face of America's seniors. We paid into these programs for our entire careers, and he would just cut them? Why? He wants to give another tax cut to the super rich, which they don't need. I know that Kamala Harris will protect our Social Security because she understands why it's so important for so many of us.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am a strong believer in pro-life. I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde supports abortion bans. Republican extremists in the Senate already want to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. They want more anti-abortion judges. And to even make birth control and IVF illegal.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
We can't trust Eric Hovde.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Welcome back. There's a lot at stake for local schools next Tuesday, and this morning we're taking a closer look at one of the districts going to referendum.
Aaron Tarnitzer is the district administrator at McFarland Schools. He's joining us this morning. Now, Aaron, you're asking your voters there at McFarland for $5.25 million. This is mainly to pay staff. You've already made a lot of cuts. So after the April referendum failed, what's at stake for the McFarland community next week?
Thank you for the question. I appreciate the opportunity. Really at stake for our schools is asking themselves, how much are we able to invest of our own taxpayer money to keep our schools the quality that we've come to know for so many years?
Yeah, so when you see other communities, neighboring communities to McFarland, ask for figures like $600 million, where you're asking for $5 million just to keep some staff around. How does that feel?
Well, ultimately, it's really about the tax impact to your community. So some districts are much larger, have much larger numbers, but for us, it really is what it means for the taxpayer. And it is a significant ask when you're saying, will you be willing to pay more money? And in tough financial times, and the economy is looking up, so people are feeling more positive. However, they're still a little bit uncertain about what they're able to afford, yet they love their public school. They love their local public school, and certainly McFarland really is proud of our tradition of our school district.
I see, we've been doing some research, and we were reading that a majority of your population doesn't even have children. So how do you persuade those types of voters?
Yes, that's really important to acknowledge. About 70% of our community do not have current kids. Of course, some have grandkids. Many are graduates, you know, and so one thing I've been hearing from the community a lot is we feel like it's our turn. Someone did this for us, you know, and paid the taxes when we were kids or when our kids were growing up. And now it's our responsibility to step up and do that for them.
Okay, so break down the tax impacts here for folks in McFarland.
So in our last year data, the average home in McFarland was about $400,000. That was about the value. So that's a number we've been using. And so it slowly builds in 3 years, phases in, and by the end of those 3 years, it's $897 additional dollars per year per taxpayer for a $400,000 home.
And if this doesn't pass on Tuesday, I mean, we're talking about staff cuts.
We are. 80% of our budget is staff salary and benefits. So in the first year alone, we'd need to account for $2.5 million, which is the equivalent of about 36 staff members.
36.
All right, so a lot at stake on Tuesday. But Aaron, we want to thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for the opportunity. Really appreciate it.
We're back right after this.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
The other side is lying to scare you. Truth is, Joan Ballweg is a champion for women's health care. She fought hard to expand healthcare access for postpartum moms and supports access for IVF and birth control. We're voting for Joan Ballweg because she votes for women like us.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
The problem with Todd Novak? He voted with his extreme party leaders 100% of the time, like voting against lower prescription prices. And Todd Novak authored the law to ban abortion in Wisconsin, with no exceptions for rape and incest. Todd Novak is with the extremists 100%, and he's hurting Wisconsin. Elizabeth Grabe will defend abortion rights, get more police funding, and bring down costs. Elizabeth Grabe for Assembly.
I'm Tara, a nurse here in Wisconsin, and my patients don't want politicians like Eric Hovde making their healthcare decisions. He means what he says about opposing reproductive rights.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
And there are forces in Washington who want to pass a nationwide ban on abortion. And if Hovde gets elected, I worry he'll support that ban that could turn nurses like me into criminals. We need to vote against Eric Hovde.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
Eric Hovde owns a $3 billion California bank. That's right, he owns it.
And a $7 million mansion on the beach.
Eric Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax breaks for rich guys just like him.
And to pay for it, Hovde would cut Social Security by 28%.
Slash Medicare 25%.
And veterans benefits 40%.
Outrageous. Now we know what's wrong with Eric Hovde. This guy is not for us.
We know what Joan Ballweg wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations, to cut Social Security and Medicare, to impose what is in effect a national sales tax. When I am president, I will bring down the cost of groceries. My tax plan will give 100 million more Americans a tax cut. And unlike Donald Trump, I will always put the middle class and working families first.
FFPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
Right now, campaign surrogates in Wisconsin, how they're driving voters to the polls with 1 week to go until the election.
Plus, new housing being developed on what used to be a longtime farm. Hear from the family behind it.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 Now this morning on a Tuesday. I'm Chris Stanford.
And I'm Kyrie Lee. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. It is feeling real summer-like. When I walked outside this morning, it was like, why do I have this jacket on, these
Don't need
boots?
it.
I'm like, I'm confused, clearly.
Definitely doesn't feel like late October out there. Let's check in with Savannah Brito. She's on the patio to let us know what we can expect today. She's also tracking an alert day in the forecast. Savannah.
Yeah, we do have an alert day in the forecast, not today, but for tomorrow, and that's mainly going to affect the night hours into early Thursday morning. Very breezy conditions already this morning. This will continue tonight into tomorrow, really through Halloween. Winds have peaked at 25 miles per hour in Watertown. These are all since midnight. 26 in Madison, 32 though in Monroe, 25 miles per hour this morning in Platteville. It's also very warm outside. Temperatures have not fallen below the mid-60s, at least across Dane County, and for the most part, all of southern Wisconsin, very warm. That's to be expected today, tonight, and even into Wednesday, and then Halloween. That's when temperatures are going to drop. Ahead of that, though, we could be tracking some strong to even severe thunderstorms. That's why we went with an alert day for southwestern Wisconsin tomorrow night. I'll time the storms out and also mention what threats we could see here tomorrow coming up.
All right, talk soon. Thank you. Stay on top of the alert day conditions yourself with the First Warn Weather app. It's free wherever you get your apps. In our 3 for the People coverage this morning, campaign visits are ramping up with 1 week until the election.
Senator Bernie Sanders and Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez rallied supporters at the Overture Center. The progressive lawmakers focused on getting voters to turn out this election. This comes one night after a rally by former President Donald Trump at Madison Square Garden. Ocasio-Cortez referenced a remark from that event when addressing supporters.
That Donald Trump rallied tens of thousands of people, of Americans, to rally and froth behind words like calling Puerto Rico a floating pile of garbage. I know a lot of us look at these polls and we cannot believe that the race is this tight. But a swing voter is not just from red to blue. This is what we say, it's from couch to booth.
Ocasio-Cortez is herself of Puerto Rican descent. Senator Sanders spoke at the Madison rally as well. He also campaigned in Oshkosh earlier that day.
Former President Trump, meantime, is scheduled to return to Wisconsin tomorrow. He'll speak at the Resch Center in Green Bay with former Packers quarterback Brett Favre. Then Friday, Trump will hold a rally at Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee. The former president's expected to talk about inflation and his economic policy.
And happening tomorrow, you can watch Madison officials test the city's election equipment. Tomorrow morning, the clerk's office will conduct thorough testing of its vote counting technology. The goal is to build trust with the community. They want to show that every eligible voter can cast their ballot and that it will be counted. The test starts at 9 tomorrow morning. It will happen next to the Madison Public Library's Hawthorne location off East Washington Avenue.
If you've already voted absentee, you might be wondering what happened to your ballot. If so, you're far from alone. Hundreds of thousands of Wisconsinites have cast their ballots early. At polling places across Dane County, absentee ballots are generally put into a special red bag. Dane County's clerk says that if your polling place is not already the town or village hall, it goes on a journey to your clerk's office.
There'll be a chain of custody of that, and then it'll be stored in a locked, secure location. But under Wisconsin law, they cannot be processed in any way or opened until Election Day. So 7 a.m., they start opening them, putting them through the machines and counting them. The names then go in the poll book, and that's been the process for a long time here.
The clerk adds that a lot more people are voting in person than before. He expects that to keep growing in popularity as well.
Officials on the West Coast are investigating fire set to 2 absentee ballot drop boxes. Take a look at this here. This is in Vancouver, Washington. You can see crews digging through actively burning ballots. Hundreds of ballots reportedly suffered damage. Meanwhile, in Portland, Oregon, a drop box caught fire after someone allegedly dropped an incendiary device inside. That fire damaged only 3 ballots. No word on any suspects or arrests yet from police. Election officials are urging those who use the drop boxes to check the status of their ballot.
In other news this morning, more companies are requiring employees to return to the workplace. The latest high-profile case involves Amazon. They now mandate a 5-day in-office work week. Other companies are also changing their work-from-home policies. A recent survey, though, found that about 1 in 5 employees, 1 in 5, say they're ignoring their company's return-to-work policy.
We know that the companies are very serious about it. That does not mean that people don't have some flexibility here, but that needs to begin with a conversation with your manager, not just a choice that you make on your own.
LinkedIn says these days about 20% of job listings are remote or hybrid.
Back here locally, the village of DeForest will get more than $1.5 million for road construction. It will serve the new Quick Trip Distribution Center. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation says this will help support nearly 400 new jobs. Crews began building the distribution center this summer. It sits south of State Highway 19. The project will expand Metro Drive, Northtown Road, and Pepsi Way on the town's west side.
6:36 now. Here in Madison, developers are constantly searching for property for new housing projects. It's part of the city's efforts to build more housing to alleviate the housing crisis. On the west side, one new development will take over what has been for many years a family farm. Our Maddie Heimsch reports.
For the first time since the 1860s, the 130 acres of land here on Marty Road won't be farmland and won't belong to the Marty family.
I've been here for a long time, and people go by all the time. They just stop, and people walking by or biking by, and Mom would be out in the garden. They'd stop and talk to her.
Ron Marty worked on his parents' farm for years and still lives next door to the land, trading the backyard sounds of cattle and livestock with that of cranes and excavators.
There have been developers after the farm for decades.
But up until this summer, the city had settled for surrounding lots.
The Marty Century Farm was one of the holdout properties, if you will. A lot of the neighborhood has developed to its north, to its west. The city's had a plan for the area that includes the Marty Farm and surroundings since the late 1990s.
But of course, at that point, Mom and Dad were not interested. I mean, we're still an active milking farm, and that was our business.
The Marty family held on to the land until this past summer, but they gave up their cows and subsequently their business back in 2009. Now the city of Madison and Viridian Homes will be in business on the land. The plans include 6 buildings with more than 200 apartment units, as well as a new subdivision lined with more than 150 single-family homes, plus stormwater management infrastructure and an expansion of Elver Park.
This is going to be the culmination of many decades of planning.
It's very bittersweet, you know, but we knew it was inevitable that this was going to happen, so it was just the timing was right.
Reporting on Madison's west side, I'm Maddie Heimsch, News 3 Now.
Viridian Homes has already started laying out the groundwork for the home developments. The Elver Park expansion is set to begin in 2027.
Well, coming up after the break, a dry September in Wisconsin. Find out why and what it could say about this coming winter.
And we do have very mild temperatures continuing through tomorrow, but ahead of that, we could be dealing with some strong to even severe thunderstorms before temperatures drop. We'll talk about when that'll be the case coming up.
Also ahead, we're live in Stoughton on Haunted Monroe Street ahead of Halloween. We're going to see how you can check out the Terror on Monroe in the 608.
I'm Joan Balwig, and I'm here to set the record straight. I support birth control, the life and health of mothers, extending postpartum care, and fertility treatments, including IVF. I'm Joan Balwig. I have always fought for Wisconsin moms, and I always will.
You have a clear choice in this election. Senator Baldwin is a 38-year career politician. I'm a businessman and job creator. She supports taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. I'll close the border. Tammy wants to put guys and girls sports in their bathrooms. I'll protect our daughters. Senator Baldwin abuses the political system. I'll fight the corruption. I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. I'd be honored to have your vote.
I'm working harder than ever just to pay the bills and provide for my family. But here's what Kamala Harris thought my money should go to instead. Job training for illegal immigrants even after they commit crimes in America. Hotel rooms for illegal immigrants while our vets sleep on the street. Sex changes for illegal immigrants out of my pocket. Seriously, have these people lost their mind? Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and this is home. Whether it was saving our family farm, starting my small business, or standing up to utility rate hikes, I've learned to solve problems by bringing people together. And right now, we have some real problems to solve. Corporations jacking up prices, and extreme politicians banning abortion. I'm Elizabeth Grabby, and together we can bring down costs and protect the right to make our own medical decisions.
Rebecca Cook believes our parents and grandparents should be able to age with dignity. In Congress, she'll vote to strengthen Social Security and Medicare by repealing the tax on benefits, lowering the eligibility age for Medicare, and allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug costs so our seniors get the prescription drugs they need at prices they can afford. Rebecca Cook, a homegrown Wisconsinite who fights for what's right. Project 218 is responsible for the content of this ad.
I'm Tammy Baldwin, and I approve this message.
I am a strong believer in pro-life. I am totally opposed to abortion.
Eric Hovde supports abortion bans. Republican extremists in the Senate already want to ban abortion nationwide. No exceptions for rape or incest. They want more anti-abortion judges. And to even make birth control and IVF illegal.
I am totally opposed to abortion.
We can't trust Eric Hovde.
Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme.
You're watching News 3 Now this morning. Moving forward.
6:42. In a clear sign of the season, the terrace chairs at the Memorial Union are now in storage. It marks the end of the Wisconsin Union's terrace season. Terrace season usually takes place from late spring to early fall each year. It includes outdoor film, music, and art entertainment. The first full terrace season started in 1929. Each year, the Union welcomes about 1 million patrons to the terrace.
The good news is when the terrace chairs go away, the outdoor entertainment continues indoors with free film showings, free and low-cost art events, and lots of things for folks to enjoy.
And one of those events is a free showing of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's on Halloween and it includes a live shadow cast.
You know, fall may be in full swing, but the season has not always looked like it. Part of the reason is a September full of near records. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says it was the 6th driest on record for Wisconsin. This is in stark contrast to what we saw earlier this year when things were really wet. Here's what one climate expert at UW had to say about why that is.
We are experiencing a lot of changes at this time of the year where we have weather systems that move through and it can have some days that be relatively warm, and other days, followed by cold conditions.
NOAA is predicting a La Nina winter. It could mean a cooler and wetter winter than normal.
But winter not on our mind at this point in time. Let's check it now with meteorologist Savannah Brito.
Yeah, absolutely not, because we're talking about very, very warm temperatures this morning. In fact, we, as long as we don't fall another 3 to 4 degrees, already set a new record warm low. That'll definitely be the case tonight, as well as possibly seeing at least near record warmth this afternoon and tomorrow. 81's our forecast, our record high, a degree warmer than that, 82. And then similar tomorrow, 77 the forecast, our record high 78. That was set back in 1971. But with the warmth comes the threat of strong to severe thunderstorms. We did go with an alert day for tomorrow night into early Thursday, so Halloween morning. Southwestern Wisconsin could see that. If we do see that line hold, though, as it enters into far southwestern Wisconsin, wind and hail are going to be the big threats. Wind ultimately our greatest threat. Can't rule out some hail, smaller hail, maybe a brief isolated tornado, and some areas will pick up potentially as high as 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. We could see minor flooding just because of all those leaves and in the drainage systems with all the breezy conditions blowing more leaves onto roadways and over those drainage systems and pipes. So just be aware of that. We're dry up until this system, though. This is Wednesday at 5:30, still well west of Madison, but then they still are expected to break up that line of strong to severe thunderstorms at least a little bit as it travels further eastward. We're looking probably somewhere around the 11 p.m. hour Wednesday night into early Friday, and then that system moves out of here. That cold front swings through. That'll really drop our temperatures. We could see a couple of sprinkles into early Halloween, but I think by the time trick-or-treating comes around, mostly dry, maybe a few very slight areas of drizzle. That's really going to be the only thing to worry about as far as into Halloween later in the day. But dropping in temperatures as well into Halloween, that'll be the big thing. If we do see the line hold, though, again, breezy conditions already out there this morning and into tonight, but that's not going to ease until after we get through Halloween. But that alert day just to be aware of tomorrow night into Thursday. There's still a lot of uncertainties, but things are coming together, at least slightly increasing for that threat across southern Wisconsin.
All right, Savannah, tracking it for us this morning. Thank you. In the 608, it's Halloween week, so we sent Josh out to Stoughton to check out the haunted stuff they got going on there.
And the community goes out all out every year, and that's where Josh is this morning. He's live. Josh, good morning. Well, where is he?
Hey, good morning to you guys. Yeah, lead photographer Mark Schilling getting us into the spooky spirit with that moonshot this morning. This is Stoughton, of course, Haunted Monroe Street. We've been here all morning, and the whole community, this neighborhood really goes out for the occasion. We have September and Jim Lyons joining us live. Guys, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So this is fun because this started about 8 years ago, and now you've got so many of the homes involved. This is really an awesome thing for the family.
It's amazing, and we have a lot of families that come out on trick-or-treat night or on Halloween night, and they say, we start our family tradition right here on Haunted Monroe Street. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. And of course, like, to construct all of this, it takes a little time, but it's fun work, right?
It is fun. Like I said, for a living, I make things look nice. It's finally nice to make something ugly. As soon as I start bringing the wood and supplies out, people start showing up.
And people appreciate it, too. I love that. All right, so one of the folks that we want to talk to is an 8th grader this morning, Sawyer Funk. He's actually in charge of this whole haunted house right at your house. Sawyer, good morning to you.
Yep, good morning.
So, let's talk a little bit about this, because you guys moved into this house about 3 months ago, and now here you are. How long did it take for you to set this up?
We started building all the walls in June, but we started setting up like September, like mid-September.
So what's your favorite part? Why do you like doing this?
My favorite part is seeing how much we improve and seeing how happy people are walking through it and seeing how excited they are.
So you're going to actually be opening this up to the public tomorrow and Halloween night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is for free.
Yeah.
So let's give people a little taste. Give us a little walkthrough here.
All right, so they'll enter through the corn right here. And then through here we'll have a jump scare right here.
So you'll have some folks that'll be out here jumping people, right?
Yep, we have 6, 7 actors.
Okay.
And then we have a couple scare animatronics like him that scare people.
Oh, hello. That's fun.
And then down through here we have the swamp. So it's just like a forest area. And then you'll come around the corner and it's a swamp here.
Oh, that's neat. So is this something that you have a good time with all your friends?
Yep. We have a ton of actors in here. And then out here, we have the barn and hotel. But you'll have to come in person to see what's in there.
See more of it, right?
Yep.
So you're going to be opening up tomorrow and Thursday night. What are the times so people know?
Thursday is 6 to 8:30, and on Halloween, it's 6 to 10.
Awesome. So Wednesday, 6 to 8:30, and then 6 to 10 on Halloween night.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Sawyer, thank you so much for the tour. All right, so September, it's also important to note that you guys are actually going to be closing down the stretch of Monroe Street, so it's going to be open to the public this week.
Yeah, it's, so on Halloween night, they're going to come in and put barricades up so there's no traffic for the kids from trick-or-treating. So they're going to put the barricades up from 5:30 to 9, and they'll have picnic tables, and yeah, everybody can just come out and have some fun.
Oh, it's going to be the place to be. You can learn more about Haunted Monroe Street by going to this story up on channel3000.com, guys. Boy, they're getting into it down here in Stoughton. We love to see it. All the spooky season fun, and there's a lot to see, even here in this yard.
And lots of hard work goes into that, and it looks like a good time.
Josh, thanks for showing us around. Hey, Josh is always looking for inspiration to share with you folks. Got an idea? Reach out. Let him know about it.
And coming up in the morning sprint, a potential effect of high BMI in kids.
If you got a little kiddo turning 3 soon, let us know. We'll show their picture on TV.
Sponsored by Three Bears Resort, Indoor Water Park and Conference Center in Warrens, Wisconsin.
So many of you have told me about your plans for the future, but prices are too high. So here's what we're going to do about it. I will take on price gouging. I will lower the cost of health care insurance. Donald Trump, well, he wants to give more tax breaks to the wealthy. I will cut taxes for the middle class instead. You may not always agree with me, but I promise I will do everything I can to lift up the middle class and be a president for all Americans. I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
California banker Eric Hovde has a plan that helps him and hurts you.
Here's the math. Hovde proposed $4 trillion in new tax cuts for rich people like him.
And we pay for Hovde's tax breaks with a 28% cut to Social Security and a 25% cut to Medicare.
Hovde even said he would raise the retirement age.
You have to start changing the retirement age.
Eric Hovde still helping himself and hurting you.
Win Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
Todd Novak is a compassionate and independent voice for us in the Assembly, but Elizabeth Grobby will tell any lie she needs to get herself elected. Grobby's dishonesty about Todd Novak is shameful. The truth, Todd Novak passed legislation protecting exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother, and voted to expand access to birth control, not ban it. It's time to reject the desperate and ridiculous lies from Elizabeth Grobby and her radical allies. We deserve better. Todd Novak for Assembly.
We know what Joan Ballwig wants to do. Ban abortion and birth control. That's it. That's her plan. Sarah Kieski is focused on bringing costs down, and she has real plans to lower the cost of healthcare and housing, prescription drugs, and to cut your taxes. So if you want a candidate focused on banning abortion and birth control, that's Joan Ballwig. For everyone else, there's Sarah Kieski. She's running for state senate to finally bring costs down.
They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. Why hasn't she done it?
For years, radical Kamala Harris created the border crisis. Thousands of accused murderers, rapists, even terrorists pour in. Each crime they commit makes American victims. Innocent victims of Kamala's open border agenda. They were bludgeoned, raped, strangled, stabbed, shot, and murdered. Kamala created the border crisis. She won't fix it now. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I think we're probably spending too much, throwing too much money on our southern border.
Last month, fentanyl killed my childhood friend. Drugs and criminals are pouring into our communities because Tammy Baldwin voted to open our border and defund our police. I moved here from New York to protect my family, but Tammy's bringing her New York values to Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin is dangerous.
I'm Eric Hovde, and I approve this message. Join my team and give today.
Insanity. Doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Kamala wouldn't change a thing? Their weakness invited wars, welfare for illegals, while Americans struggle. Now Kamala wants higher taxes on top of higher prices. We can't afford 4 more years of Kamala.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
6:53, time for the morning sprint.
Former President Bill Clinton will visit Wisconsin on behalf of the Harris-Walz campaign. He'll be in the Fox Valley in Milwaukee on Thursday. The campaign has not announced an exact location or time. Clinton is expected to tout Harris's agenda while criticizing the conservative Project 2025 plan.
Meantime, former President Trump is returning to Wisconsin tomorrow. He'll speak at the Resch Center in Green Bay along with former Packers quarterback Brett Favre. Then Friday, Trump will head to Milwaukee to rally at Pfizer Forum. The former president's expected to talk about inflation and his economic policy.
Officials on the West Coast are investigating fire set to 2 absentee ballot drop boxes. This happened in Vancouver, Washington, and Portland, Oregon. The fire in Vancouver reportedly damaged hundreds of ballots. No word on any suspects or arrests yet from police. Election officials are urging those who had used the drop boxes to check the status of their ballot.
Tomorrow, you can watch Madison officials test the city's election equipment. Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock, the clerk's office will conduct some thorough testing of its vote counting technology. It'll happen right next to the Madison Public Library's Hawthorne location off of East Washington Avenue.
And we now know the names of the victim and suspect in a weekend stabbing in Prairie du Chien. The victim has been identified as 65-year-old Daniel Welsh. The suspect has been identified as Jesse Slaughter. Police say the two knew each other. Police are referring charges to the Crawford County District Attorney. They include first-degree reckless homicide and bail jumping.
Children with an abnormal body mass index, or BMI, may develop impaired lung function. That's according to a new study out of Sweden that found that it can be linked to lung issues as children grow up. This can happen if the BMI is too high or too low. However, some experts argue that BMI is an inaccurate measurement of overall health.
Israel is banning UNRWA from operating in its country. UNRWA is the UN's Palestinian refugee agency. This could impact its work in war-torn Gaza. Lawmakers cited the involvement of some UNRWA staffers in the October 7th attacks in southern Israel. The legislation has alarmed the UN and some of Israel's Western allies. They fear it would further worsen the humanitarian situation in Gaza.
Near record warmth is going to continue this afternoon. Definitely tonight. We're set to break a previous record warm low tonight. Our previous one, I guess the current one, 58. Our forecast 68. So by 10 whopping degrees. 77 tomorrow, and then the threat of severe weather will move in tomorrow night into early Halloween, and then a major drop in temperatures. We're back to near normal by Halloween.
All right, so you better get out and enjoy it while you can today.
Oh yeah, 81 today. Get out and about.
Yes,
Keep that First Horn weather app handy too.
Absolutely.
Savannah, thank you.
We're back in 30 minutes with the news and weather update.